everybody. Hello, hello. It is time for Jason's Thoughts, episode 86. And I have a special return guest, Breezy Bryce. How you
Special.
doing, my friend? It's been a long time.
Yeah, I'm doing great, man. Nice little
Good.
backdrop you got going on. Looks good.
Yeah, you've certainly changed backdrops since the last time we've talked a couple times. But it's looking really, really good.
Thanks, man. Yeah, I love it.
Yeah. So this is your own shop. I know we're going to get into some more details today about growth, but you've done a lot of growing, and you have a really, really nice looking store behind you now that is yours. So congratulations.
Yeah, thanks so much. Yeah, it was a lot of work, and it happened, but very quickly.
Yeah, no doubt. Yeah. Indeed. Well, for those that haven't watched any of our past videos, I think probably just a quick intro of maybe how we know each other. And
totally.
Man, I can't even remember how many years it's kind of been now.
Coming up close to 20 years.
I feel like that's probably pretty accurate, which is crazy. Yeah. We both worked together in sales jobs, selling cell phones and satellite services and stuff like that. And so for many years, we were doing that kind of in different locations, and then finally together.
That was even before the iPhone came out, man.
Oh man, oh man, now we've dated ourselves.
It's bad, right?
That just brings it all into perspective. Yeah. So we did that for quite a while, and then I kept going down a path. I moved away, and then you kind of went down your path in sales. But I think that's where we became more connected through friendship versus work, and have had a good connection ever since. And it's been awesome to watch your growth.
Watch the old videos.
That's true. Yeah, exactly. Go, right? That will tell all for sure. So today we want to talk about growth because I think you've gone through a tremendous amount in your life, in work and in personal. And so I think it's really, really cool to get that firsthand experience, to hear from someone that's had that firsthand experience in real world scenarios. So tell me, let's start with what's Breezy Bryce been up to these days?
Yeah, I mean, I guess it's been a long time. I mean, what are we talking? 2 years?
I think so. Yeah.
So at that time, I had left my corporate job with quite a bit of income potential. Let's just put it that way. And and I would be making really big money right now, actually, because the dealership that I was at has been doing what it was supposed to, and it was under the right leadership, and everything would have gone the way it was supposed to for our income. But I decided that it wasn't right for me, and it was time for a change out of the automotive industry. I'd kind of already felt that way previously, but it was time to I wanted to open up my own used car lot. And then that was with no, just I was trying to do that. But it felt, again, I fully lost interest in the car business at that point. And then I just started buying and selling things online. And it materialized from, just here and there in my garage to too many C-cans and storage facilities in one go. And then basically, jumping in full time and getting a shop that we sold out of, and moving to another shop that we sold out of, and now to a storefront, and all within with the incorporation was basically within 1 year and 2 months, all within 1 year and 2 months of incorporating the company.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. Of course, the garage port that was startup. Is this something that I like doing? Oh, it is. And then let's see where it goes, and it went all the way that I wanted it to. So,
wow.
Yeah.
So step one, step two, I think a lot of people have little kind of side hustles and
Yeah.
side jobs, especially in today's economy, where you just, you're selling a
Got it.
little bit through Facebook Marketplace or
Yeah.
whatever. I mean, you had some storefronts. What was there a certain moment where you were like, I can make a go of this, or I can make this really special and something that I'm truly passionate about? Was there like one defining moment?
I think that it was all the way through, because when I started, it brought up a lot of like, just like feelings of happiness of like, this is fun and I'm excited and I'm enjoying this. And I was doing it, outside of my regular, you know, my car dealership job. I'd go home
Yeah.
and do this at nighttime and then, sell at swap meets and stuff like that. So there was like this just love for the hustle. And,
Yeah.
like I'm somebody who has sold things that have cost more than, $100,000. And, and here I'm getting pumped up about selling stuff that sells for $1 or $2. Like, to me, it's just like being part of the deal, right? Like, I don't care what it is. Give me 50
Oh.
cents. I'll take all the coins you have, even pennies. Just because I love the game. I just love the hustle. It just,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it was
It's
really just
clear.
all the way through. And then to even, go into that even further was like, there was also the entire time I was scared completely the entire time. Like, just
Yeah.
totally scared. Like, what have I done? I've risked too much. I'm in too deep. This isn't working. How do I get out of it? Like, what do I do? I'm here now, right? And like, but all the while still wanting it and having a clear vision. But it just, like through being your first business and whatnot, like I've been a part of many businesses, but I didn't know what the process was. So it was just
Yeah.
hard lessons and just keep
Yeah.
pushing through and not doing anything but push through.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So clearly something that, you know, it is, it's like a passion, right?
It has to be a
You're,
passion.
yeah.
Because if it wasn't, I would have given up I would have given up, so long ago that it just,
Hmm.
like, there's no way that this happened without it being a passionate thing to me that I
Yeah.
really enjoy doing,
Yeah.
and because
Yeah.
so many days are so hard, and the last 2 years have been it's been the hardest years of my life, like legitimately. And that personally, like, because we're
Yeah.
friends, right? Like, so the last 2 years have been the hardest time of my life. But at the same time, and it feels so great, but I had to push through it
Hmm.
all, you know,
Yeah. Yeah.
it's tough.
And,
It's
and
worth
do you
it.
think like the job and building this business up from, as you said, your garage, as you
Yeah.
said, like your evening kind of side hustle,
Yeah.
do you think through the tough times in life that this passion that you had for this business was kind of a glowing light for you, or something that kept
Yeah,
you
it was.
going? And
Because yeah, exactly. Because I wake up every day happy to do it, right? And it
right.
was the cause of my pain too, though. So, like,
Mm, mm,
financially, it's tough to jump into a business when you have a mortgage and you have kids, and you have a family, and you've been living a
right.
very, very privileged life. But luckily, we always live below our means, and even
Yeah.
that, it was just like terribly hard. And the only thing that could have ever prepared me for that was the fact that I knew what full commission sales were all about, right? I knew
Yeah.
what I was doing as far as like, I know what I
Yeah.
have to do this month to make the month happen. I knew that hustle and I love it. And I forgot how much I loved it. And,
Yeah.
because my last job would have been, like managing, people who make over $100,000 a year, and then managing salespeople who make 100K a year, and other people who are making, good effort into the business and are just learning and stuff like that. Right. So like, it was a big deal job, big corporate job that could take me anywhere I wanted to. But I woke up and I hated every day of it, and it was like
Hmm.
even the job before that I wasn't enjoying. And, so you like,
Yeah.
it just, you're right. Like it was just so passionate, so driven from within, you know?
Yeah. 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 Absolutely. That's good though. And you talked about, because like, I know this story, but anybody that's watching this doesn't really know the story. But like, you start from selling out of your garage, and then
Yeah.
you move into something with overhead, like a
Yeah.
storage, and a kind of a retail front, which, by the way, I advised you shouldn't do that at the time. I, I was wrong. Remember, I was like, I don't think you should get.
No
rich
one's
off all
wrong or
fairways.
right yet.
Well, I was maybe a little bit. I'm a bit more tight and scared of.
Oh, I
Anyways,
risked everything. So yeah.
yeah. So, but then you kind of move from this, right from the garage
Yeah.
to this location that wasn't ideal, and then you found a pretty good sweet spot of another retail location that was a little bit off the beaten path, and
Yeah.
now you're in this actual like retail front with a bunch of
Totally.
other retailers. So when you
Yeah.
kind of look at that, to me, that's really, really fast growth. Like you
Yeah.
kind of moved very quickly.
Yeah.
How important is that growth? And why do you think that growth is so important as an entrepreneur and a small business owner, like
I think
especially at
growth,
that speed?
yeah, I think that growth is the most important thing. I think that, I hate to say old sayings, but like, if you're not growing, you're dying. And like, it truly is that. Cause I think that all of us can relate to that part of like going through some sort of hard time or depression. Like I've definitely gone through it and I know how that feels. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah.
So yeah, I mean, it's just one of those things, really. I just think that without growth, you're really kind of hopeless. You don't really have like, what's your purpose, right? Like you have to grow. Nobody wants to do the same thing every single day in Groundhog Day, like walking into a
Yeah.
wall 500 times, right? Like I can't personally do it. And I think that I'm on the aggressive side of personal growth and just
Mm-hmm.
development in general. Like I think it's like a word that's constantly used in my house with my 10-year-old, and like and my wife and our
Yeah.
14-year-old daughter. So like it's just one of those things that like it's a whole thing and like that we totally believe in. And we all believe it's the most important thing. And things change and growth happens. And I think the most important thing is growing slowly and consistently. I don't think that
Mm-hmm.
there's any port like where you want to really just jump in and have all this rapid growth. You might want to be wondering, why is that happening?
Yeah.
For me, like for those who don't know, I've been in sales for 20 some odd years. I wanted to get back into a business that because I was going to do a used car lot, but necessities were always on my mind.
Mm-hmm.
And selling things at low prices and stuff like that and value that anybody could purchase. And I was always after anything that, like you walk in and buy, anybody could buy something. That was the whole goal. And
Yeah.
necessities. And that's why my growth happened so fast. I also put myself out there, with like pretty big players in the game that have had TV shows, and I wasn't too scared to reach out and see what they could do for me and what I could do for them. And that grew the thing very quickly. And also the economy just had a big part of it. But without all of my sales background and my business background, there's just no way that I could have grown it as fast as I did. Because, and I already made a bunch of mistakes that almost completely blew me out of the water. Right. So yeah,
Yeah.
slow, consistent growth. And that's what we're going to be doing here. Slow, consistent growth. We're going to have our channels all in the right place. I see the financial part coming when it's like come together and we have all the right processes and the right things coming in place. It'll happen, right? So yeah. And like, like to go back to the other part too, is like with everything, and I like started this business from the ground up. I'm not emotionally connected to like necessarily this business, but what I look at too is that I have now the blueprint. I understand
Yeah.
what needs to happen. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You only grow when you have to. So
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah.
And with your growth, did
I
you
guess that
kind of
sounds
have,
wrong. It's like you only
okay.
grow in business, like you expand only as it deems necessary in the market, right? You don't just go out into the market and just throw things everywhere. That's what I mean by only grow,
Yeah.
when it's necessary for a business.
Yeah.
But for personal,
Yeah.
like and your business, you should be always growing and making steps forward. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Just wanted to clarify that.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. And
Yeah.
so when you talk about that rapid growth,
Yeah.
was there certain, like, did you map that out? Like you went, okay, in 6 months I need to be at this stage.
Right.
At a year I should be at this stage. Was there certain metrics that you looked at
There
that
was
you
zero
were?
metrics because it was a
Yeah.
new business that I didn't like, you know, like I know business and stuff like that. I understand buying and selling and wholesaling because that used to be part of my job. But you know, it was hard to do metrics because I didn't know what was coming my way, and I was basically just buying everything I possibly could buy and trying to make money on it. And so it was just hard. But now as the store is here and I've been able to watch what sells and I was tracking sales, like, now more so than ever. But before, no, there was nothing. And it was just like diving in and just making things happen. You know, and like I had goals always because you need to have your map, you got to have your destination because you won't reach anywhere without it. So I had like clear goals of what I wanted to achieve with this business, you know. So I had that.
Yeah. That's a goal.
And I still do have that. And it's very like, you know, it's with I think about it all day long, you know, essentially. Yeah. But I also try to enjoy what's current and enjoy the current thing that's happening in front of me.
Yeah. But it sounds like you kind of did through that growth, right? Like, you know, you kind of hit these roadblocks and you go, okay, like maybe this isn't going as I want, but now I'm going to try something different. Or, you know, like, okay, here I am. But like, to me, it sounds like you didn't give up on your passion. And when you kind of hit maybe a roadblock or like a, oh shit moment, like you redirected, you repivoted, and through that pivot you grew more, right? And I think
That's
that's
exactly how it works through all those times were super hard. And it wasn't even like, oh, I'll try this and like see if this works. It was legitimately like business partnerships just boom blowing up on themselves and just being taken back because like almost every single employer I've ever had would hire me back. And I'm not just saying that like just as a cocky thing, but like that's just like the type of person I am. So for a business relationship to blow up on me like that quick, that meant so much to my business. It just took all the gas out of the business. And and I got that relationship almost immediately through the gates because I'm very good at like building relationships, right? And that also projected how fast, because I already, you know, again, back to the sales experience, right? So like, and then boom, it's just taken away just like that. And I was too relied on that. And then there was one other relationship that it was like, you know, 60, 70, 30, or maybe even 50-50. And then boom, that relationship blew up on me. Right. And then I looked at it, I'm like, now what? And then all of a sudden, depression mode. And like, this is right in the middle of building my business. And I'm fully depressed and can't see how to make it happen. I've overcommitted financially. I don't have, you know, like all the things that you can imagine, you know, I did it like all not tracking things, not doing shit right, like just all of it, all the mistakes all at one time. You know, and then just every single day dealing with something and like, you know, what is the most important thing that I have to deal with and just always getting shit done. And I can't even say the word that you said. The one that started with a G and then it had a U at the end. Because like in my mindset, it's like I don't even want to say that word. I just want to say I'm always going to push forward. I'm always going to like keep going. I'm always going to move forward. Keep going mentality. Right.
It's such a number one, reflecting on kind of your feedback. That's why experience is like there's nothing more powerful and valuable than experience, right? Because like you can read a book on how to run a business. You can listen to every single YouTube, every course out there, and until you actually have that like, oh crap, experience in that moment, and you build off of that, right? You go, okay, made a mistake. I won't do that again.
Well, and that's the growth. And that's like, and that's what somebody who is after the growth life, right? Like is truly about personal growth. That's how they're going to look at it. Right. And that's how, that's why not so many businesses make it, because I don't know a lot of people who have that mentality of constant growth. I just don't. You know, like you meet clients and you meet people and like, you know, like, and not everybody's the same. Like you wouldn't want a whole world full of people like that. You know what I mean? Like, because it would be a weird place, right? Like it takes all types of people, right? So like, it's one of those things. Not everybody's going to make it, but the ones that are going to make it are going to have that mindset, that positivity, and they're going to keep growing and look at it. Because the only way that I made it was I literally have it on my mirror at my home in the bathroom. It says, mistakes I've made to learn by. And then every single mistake I've made that was like very impactful. I don't fuck around with the small things. Like, who cares, right? Like, you make those.
Yeah.
That was stupid. I made a
Yeah.
couple of them yesterday, but like and I have all the main mistakes written down because now I know. Now I've learned that because I had to wait for more growth before I decided to buy like a really nice fancy van for my business. And I didn't. I just jumped in because I had these relationships rolling, and I've never had relationships blow up on me before. So why would it happen now? Everything's going quick. And at that time I needed it, right? And I just overcommitted, and it almost killed me in certain times when that depression hit and stuff like that, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
But then taking that good positive mindset and then growing from that, and then just like, you know what? Glad it happened now and not 5 years into a business that I had built up for multi-millions, and then boom, they blow up on me, and then I'm stuck with nothing, and my life implodes. So I was like, I'm gonna go get the contracts myself. I'm gonna go make my business. And what's great about it all is that both of those people are back in my life doing business with me, because it's just about growth. It's just about making those calls and be like, hey, like, how do we fix this? How do we grow from here?
Yeah. I love that. I think people do go through growth periods, but I love that thing on your mirror that you actually have those pinnacle moments in your life as a reflection, because I think people just go through life so quickly, and then you take the punches, you take the licks, and you keep going. I think that's a really, maybe that is something that helped you in those times of feeling like this wasn't working out, or it wasn't going your way, to reflect on how far you've come, right? Which is a very powerful tool.
Totally.
My next question for you might already be kind of obvious in kind of your stories, but like, how hard is it to grow? And that might be just business, or that could be personal as a human. Like, what's your sense on that?
I think it's all like how you look at it. And I think that real hard growth, like real, like big growth, is hard, and it's not designed to be easy. And I think that the small growths that you can, think about daily, I think that happens with keeping a positive mindset, because then you can look at those daily things that piss you off, and you can be like, okay, what's happening right now? My wife's being upset at me and treating me like crap. You can focus on that, and it can be a fight, or you can focus on, what do I want to happen? I want my wife to be in a good mood, and I want to enjoy my time with her. And then having a mindset like that through all that stuff, well, that's going to help you grow too, right? So it just depends on the type of growth, and we go through different, like you said, cycles. And like my last 2 years was a real hard growth time, and it was the hardest time of my life, and there was times where I just didn't want to live anymore. So it's hard. But just like having that ability to keep pushing through and keep moving forward, and just finding, it sucks to say, a little bit of motivation, because motivation comes and goes, and you can't rely on it, but you want to get some sort of something to motivate you and get you going, and then just keep building on, not the motivation, but the momentum, and the positive. Just keep growing, right? It's hard though. It's hard. Hard to say.
It just sharing your story and just the peaks and valleys of your emotions, you can tell when you're talking about the tough times, the dark times.
And here's the reality, is that I know more are coming. Like, I'm not oblivious to the fact. I'm in a good place right now. Everything's going really great. We're building the business. It's going the way that I see it. It's every day is with purpose. My growth is consistent. Like, I'm not ashamed to say, like, I'm the type of person who I grow. Like, I go to counseling, like, just because I need that. Like, for me, I need to talk things out. And that's what's great about this podcast, is just talking things out, right? It's good. It's healthy. And if somebody can learn from it, great, because the podcast is what helped me get my motivation back and get my mindset back to straight to where it needed to be, along with having good, positive people around me. Because if you don't have that, you got nothing, right? Like,
Strength in numbers, my friend. Strength in numbers
Totally.
always,
Totally.
right? Part of that, talking about hard growth and experience. One of my absolute favorite quotes. It seems to have altered through the years, but is a calm sea never made a skilled sailor, right? And so when you
Yes.
think about like, okay, your business, like when the sea is calm, like and all is good,
Yeah.
you're just like, oh, everything's easy. But then when the storm hits,
Right.
that's when you have your biggest growth moments, right? Because
Totally.
it's like, oh, now I've got a 20-foot swale coming over my boat. And
Yeah,
so you
exactly.
understand what you need to do differently. And when I think about
So
your
true.
growth, you've just
It
lived
has
that
to be
quote.
that. There's no other way.
Yeah.
And and that's what makes people great, right? Like, as you look at, unfortunately, like right now, what's happening with the real estate market, all the realtors are going through that. All the people that joined
Yeah.
into real estate just before COVID or during COVID, when everything was crazy, and you just had to have a pulse, and you could sell a house and make a ton of money. And then, and then you get used to that. And if people weren't in sales and commission sales, they don't understand the waves of how it works. And, and living outside of your means is something that was happening. I'm certain of it. Whereas like
Yeah.
you have to live below, and then enjoy it. But like, yeah, like that's hard lessons that are happening right now. And the realtors that are pushing through, they're going to be better business people for it, like, and better salespeople for it. Right.
Always. Yeah. I remember way back in the day, just literally being, and you're more current with
Yeah.
um, $0 to my name every beginning of every month, right?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
so in
Yeah.
sales, it was straight commission. And so it was
Yeah.
like, okay, what am I going to be eating next month? Craft dinner or at the cake,
Totally.
right? And so
Totally.
just,
Yeah.
but those experiences build grit, right?
It
And
does.
they
Yeah.
build the hunger, they build like so many
Exactly.
elements that probably from your car sales as well, being in that same environment of like $0 to your name
That's
every
right.
month,
That's
it
right.
built that hustle and that push and that motivation.
Totally.
Just, even though like, okay, well, if you don't hit your target or you're going to get minimum wage and not exactly ideal, but at least it's some kind of money. But this is when you're all in, like you're
That's
all
it.
in, like
Yeah.
there's
How
no
many months
backup
do you
plan.
have? Right. Like
Yeah,
that's it.
yeah,
Well, and the thing is, and you can't even think about that.
yeah.
You basically just need to focus on what is it that you want. Well, I want to make a shit ton of money and make sure all my bills are paid.
Love it.
And then
Love it.
that drives the right action towards the
Yeah,
goal, right? But like, I don't even
love
think
that.
about that to the
Love that.
point of like, I'm not even thinking about money anymore. Like, I'm just thinking about building this business and winning. And I know that if I build this business the right way, and I know that if I keep like my core foundation, that
Yep.
it will come. And that's just like, it's just like this, the icing on top, right? Like the goal, my really close friend who's actually helped me through my business, and just staying in business, and if he wasn't by my side, I wouldn't be where I'm at today. That's 100% the truth. And he's
Mm-hmm.
like the main guy who stuck by my side through all the crap, because we were close and we live right
Yep.
beside each other, and he's a business person too, an entrepreneur or whatever. And
Yeah.
yeah, so without him, I just wouldn't be here, right? So
Wow. That's a really good thing, and I'm happy he was there for you through those times for sure.
well,
Because
yeah, it does. It's just tough, right? So it's good to have good people around you. But I
yeah,
lost my point there. Where was I going with that?
not sure. I was going somewhere else, but
What
I
what
was.
was the Go back to your question. Let's go and hit that quick back.
How hard is it to grow? I was talking about the skilled sailor.
Yeah, that's
Um,
right.
yeah. So my next question was more about like, is that growth, and especially at the speed of growth that you've been moving up, is that realistic? Like, is constant growth realistic in general?
Constant growth is for sure realistic.
Hmm.
I witness it in my own life, pretty much daily, and like, just like, because currently going through a big shift in the way that I look at things. Like I really am stopping to like, I don't focus on in the moment what's upsetting me. I'm just like, every time that happens, I think about, okay, what do I want? What do I want? And I just really am focusing on that. So for right now, like, I'm seeing growth and I'm seeing the results of it, and it's still hard. But it's not like the same type of hard it was the past couple of years. This is just like continuing that like ability to grow and look at all and be thankful and grateful for everything. I wake up every day and I literally out loud on my commute with no music, nothing, just talk about what I'm grateful for, all the things, right? Like,
That's so good.
so
That's so good.
again, so it's like one of those things, you do see the growth, right? But like, it's also at the same time, it's like going to the gym, and it takes forever to see any results. It could take you 10 years. It could take you 10 years, right? Like my favorite business person that does video logs and podcasts and stuff like that is Andrew Frisilla. And like, he's to the point amazing, like no fluff, no BS. He went from, like his retail store, sleeping in it, to $100 million businesses, right? So it's just like,
wow.
Yeah, like you gotta, it's just good stuff, right?
Yeah. Good. And what, through all of this growth and learning and experience, like, what are some downfalls or pitfalls that you maybe have had through that growth? Anything negative that you see downside of the growth?
Yeah, it's frustrating. Growth is hard. It's frustrating. It's annoying, right? And like, in the times where you're wanting, like, you feel like no change is happening, and that you want the change, and it's not for lack of trying, but no matter what you do, there's just no change. It's hard. Like, it's really hard, but you just got to keep pushing through it.
Yeah. One of the things that I really liked that you mentioned earlier that I forgot to double click on was, like, you talked, I said about the growth and like about the dollars, like, growing the dollars, but you actually had said that, it was more about the movement forward. And to me, that's like, what I love about that is that you're focusing on behaviors and your why, like your core why to your day to day, versus the outcome, which is the dollars, right? Like the bills. And
that's
so
what we're talking about. That's right. That's what we're talking about. Because like, I was saying, my friend got me into thinking that more and more, right? Like, because it has to be about serving the community, and you have to really have something that you want to do, and you have to be good to people and all that stuff. Right?
That's amazing.
So you can't focus on the money is really the main point there. You got to focus on what problem can you solve in the market. And this isn't my words or anything like that. It's just hearing people that I listen to and successful people. And you got to solve a problem. And money comes when you're great at something.
And it's the outcome, right?
It's the outcome. It's, of any great business, they didn't just get to that business by, or like, well, I guess they didn't get like super, super rich just for nothing. Like it's because they stood for something and they went for it, and it grew because people needed it or wanted it, or it solved the problem.
Yeah, exactly. So my last question for you is, like, through all this growth, like, when do you know you've hit Mount Everest of growth? Like, when do you know you're at your full potential? When do you know you can let off the gas and you can say, I did it. I made it.
Totally. There's like, different parts, and everybody is a little bit different, and not everybody is just like gung-ho on grow like I am. But like, when you are, and I guess we're talking to the people who are, right? Like, so when you do, and you are growing, and you've put up a big goal, don't want to scare anybody. It's depressing once you hit it. Like, it's like, it's almost like it is what's next. And you're like, I'm supposed to feel this, and I'm supposed to feel that. And then you're taken aback, and then you get there, and usually it's a financial goal, because that's what it was for me, and or whatever. It could be a house, or it could be anything, but like, you get to that goal, financial it was for me, and it's just like, meh, what? And then it's just like, hey, now what? Right? Like, you achieve this. I bought the house. I've got all the money. I've got the wife and the kids. And is it enough? And like, why am I still not happy? Right? And like, it's just kind of a funny thing, right? So you get there, and you feel low because you've already hit this goal, and you're trying to think, within this organization, how am I supposed to, what is my next growth and what does that look like? And sometimes there isn't that ability. You know what I mean? So it depends on where you're growing, right? So for me, it's usually career and personal with my family, of course, because those are the main parts of my life. And so it's just like it can be really low until you find the next goal, or you probably get to a point now, or like when you're in your career, is that you have constant goals, especially if you're running your own ship. It's a lot easier to have your goals set because you've got no ceiling, you know? So you just keep doing it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a good way to think about it. The ceiling keeps on moving up and up and up. The sky's the limit, right?
And I think like one of the things, like on a little bit of a different topic, is I talked to my wife about this and I was like, okay, so we've been talking about like she wants a G-Wagon. And I said to her,
Nice.
I was like, there's no way that isn't a possibility. That is 100% possibility. And I'll tell you why. I said, what was your first car? I was like, how much was the value? She's like, $1,200. I'm like, okay. And how much is the value of your current car? She's like, I don't know, like 60,000. I'm like, okay. So you went from 1,200 to 60,000. How could you not go from 60,000 to 400,000? Right? It's just like, it's the same thing. But what happens, and it might be for a house or a goal or whatever, same thing, is what happens is we get comfortable with what we're at. We might have achieved our goals. We feel low about it. We start buying retail therapy. We start being really relaxed in our life and we stop growing. Again, because it's not for everybody. But for me, I don't want to stop. I want to continue. And it's, because I know that I can take, but I also live in a much riskier life than most people do too. So I know that I can go from, not having a car, with just sitting with a bus pass, to a $60,000 van. I know I can do the same thing over and over again. Right.
Yeah.
Because I just keep pushing it, keep growing it.
Yeah. Well, I love that. The conversation with your wife is just like such a great can-do attitude, right? But it's for some people that don't have that tenacity or that grit or that drive, you just need to paint the picture a little bit differently.
For sure.
And that may be for some people individually too, like they're looking at a big problem or a roadblock or something that they haven't, a hurdle they haven't been able to hit and achieve their goal. But maybe it's just a matter of taking that and looking at it a little bit differently to give yourself some new motivation. I love that. That's a great.
Yeah, it is so true. No, I like the way you put it there. Like it is really good. Just like, I totally agree. One thing that I did want to mention, I was going to say, is that, I just totally lost the thought. Never mind. It was pretty important too.
Oh man,
I didn't want to interrupt you. I just didn't want to interrupt you.
Okay.
Well, that's okay.
Okay. All right. Well,
maybe more for next time, but it's just more for next time. But I think like we hit most of the topics that we really wanted to talk about. Like it's just, don't stop growing. You just keep growing, right? What's the other option?
Well, there's a lot of other options. So
I think none for me.
Your mindset.
I think like another thing too, like, okay, so you've known me for 20 years. I'm nobody special, right? Like I'm just a regular guy, as regular as you've ever seen before.
But
I can grow a mustache.
You have the capabilities. Another human has the same capabilities as you, I would say. But
well, here's the thing: is special. Like, there's nothing special with me, and I've set goals a lot of the time over the 2 decades we've known each other. Correct?
Yeah, absolutely.
Have you known me not to nail one of them?
Oh, for sure.
I've nailed I've nailed my goals like to the T, like, and that's the power of the things that we're talking about. Is that positive mindset and that willingness to just keep going. I don't know why I have it, but I know I have it, and I just keep grinding and going. And you're a witness, knowing I'm a regular guy, and I've achieved all the goals that I've got, like that I've written out, just so like everybody can do it, right? It's not nothing special. It's just it's like the callus of a hand. You have to callus your mind to do that. Again, not my words. That's David Goggins. I could never take that on, but like it's true. You callus your mind just the way you callus your hands, and we got to be tough.
Yeah, that's true, right? It's I love that. So, any final last thoughts around growth? I mean, you just summarized pretty nicely there, but I also want to give you some time to kind of talk and plug the business. I know it's a small channel, but still want to make sure we give you some moments. But so
I'm definitely gonna put these on my website, and we'll just see how people take to it. But 250 liquidation services, we're 250liquidation.com on our website, and we're 250 liquidation services on Facebook, and we buy and sell everything. We're very community minded, where we want to offer really good products, clean, good products at fair prices. And we source them, and we want to keep things out of the landfill. So we do hotel liquidations. We've done lots of different jobs like that. We also do just estate clear out, so we can come in, buy out of the contents of a home, do junk removal services for the rest, or run an estate sale, and business liquidation. So the used world is a big world. It's more intricate than I could have ever imagined walking into this business. When you think of giants like Value Village and all the secondhand places that are out there, it's a big business, and collectibles is a big part of that, and auctions, and there's a lot of assets out there that when someone passes away, or you need to downsize, or a business closes, or someone that goes bankrupt, like all that, all those assets need to get back into the market and stay out of the landfill. And we do both of those things, as well as giving them, good prices for people to buy, because it's expensive out there.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I don't think it's going to get any better for a while, but who knows?
No. Yeah, you never know, but I'm with you, and I love the cool stuff you bring in. So
totally.
If anybody's on Facebook, you gotta get onto Bryce's page.
Check it out. We're always doing funny stuff. We did all this Halloween costumes, and like there's nothing we won't do. Like if it's the right deal, right money. I'm sure there's a couple of things that we wouldn't do, but we did sell a human skull that was from a medical from a doctor at an estate sale, so that was interesting. You never know.
You never know. Well, thank you, Bryce. A lot of really good nuggets in here from your experience.
I know it's a long listen, but it's out there, and someone can just listen to it here and there. And
I think,
if you have any questions,
I think someone could.
All my contact info is there.
Yeah,
and I am on Facebook.
Appreciate it. I appreciate you sharing all of the details. I'm gonna actually listen to this vlog back. I don't normally, but I think there's a lot of good stuff for people to grow and learn from you. So I appreciate your time, man.
Yeah, absolutely. And until next time, buddy. Thanks for having me.
Always a pleasure, Bryce. And last pitch, November.
There you go.
I know. It's November 2024. This is my 14th year doing it. Bryce is into it. Bunch of guys are doing it. It's for a good cause. So if you know anybody that's growing a mow in your social circle, make sure you donate today, because it goes towards men's health, men's mental health, prostate cancer, you name it. It's such a good cause. So
you're connected to that. You're connected to that firsthand. So
yes,
it means a lot.
I think everybody's got a story, and a lot of them are unfortunate. So let's keep the awareness high, for sure.
Totally, for sure.
Awesome. Thank you, Bryce, so much. And I cannot wait till we get to chat again. Okay.
Yeah, absolutely, man.
Nothing but success for you.